Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to another Pokemon Team Builder. Today we are continuing on our remastered, reimagined Team Builders, revisiting our Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, Generation 1/Generation 3 Team Builders. Now of course, quick disclaimer just before we get this underway to say that this is opinion based. If you want to change anything about the team, then go ahead and do so, and do keep in mind that we do not use trade evolutions, version exclusives, that's pretty much it for this generation if I remember correctly. Also, we do not duplicate mons across each team. So if there is a Pokemon that you usually use with Venusaur, i.e. Snorlax, hint Snorlax isn't in this team, then check out the other team builders as it may be in there instead. But without further ado, let's quickly slide over to the HM slaves for this run. Now the HM slaves we have got for this team builder, you guys, we have Tentacruel for Surf and Waterfall. Need around male or female, it doesn't really matter. I've just put male on there. For Cut, Rock Smash and Strength. And then Parish for Fly, Cut and Rock Smash as well. The Parish is really useful, especially when you're going through Rock Tunnel. For people like me that I really don't know how to get through that all these years. I still don't know how to get through it. Now, of course, if you do want to use some of these HMs on your team instead of going back to the PC to grab these HM slaves, then by all means, it is up to you. So do feel free to put the likes of Cut and Rock Smash on your team. Naturally, the water type will have Surf on them. It's the best water type move in the game. I think we all agree on that. But then you'll probably want something with Waterfall, hence the Tentacle. But there's plenty of other options. These are just the ones that I recommend. But without further ado, let's get on with the team. Okay then, so the first member of our team, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be our starter, which is Venusaur. It's on the thumbnail. It's going to be our staple for the team. Now, funny thing about Venusaur, I muck around with a load of different sets with this thing. I've gone with a sort of annoying set. I would understand if people don't like the set. It's probably, in my opinion, the weakest member of the team. Grass types just aren't available / amazing in this generation, especially the poison type ones because of how dominant Psychic is. But we've gone with Giga Drain, Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, Toxic. I would also recommend a Razor Leaf, keeping Razor Leaf on Venusaur instead of potentially Sleep Powder or Toxic for more PP purposes, because in this generation Giga Drain only has 5 PP, but it's completely up with you. I went with a more stally annoying set for catching mons as well, for like Sleep Powder and stuff. The alternatives we've gone for, of course, Valprime or Victory Bell, depending on what game you're using, Fire Red, Leaf Green, those are your alternatives. But then if you want a well-rounded grass type, should I say, that fits into both games, you have Executor as well. Of course, gets the Overgrow ability, no hidden abilities this time around, level 16 to Ivysaur, 32 for Venusaur, the lower of the levels for the final evolution. Really nice stats overall. Of course, that 100 base special attack, we've gone with a modest nature to boost it even further. 100 base special defense, so even though it is weak to Psychic, it can take those hits moderately well, depending on what mon is heading them. 80 base speed for a giant frog is actually quite surprising. No stab poison type move until post game, unfortunately, but if you are doing the post game, of course, I'd recommend that you shove Sludge Bomb on there as well. And even then, Sludge Bomb is one of the later TMs that you get from like the 4th or 3rd island. But yeah, really solid team member, really nice bulk to it, really good HP, good defenses. We've gone with Modest for in-game, of course, because there is no poison stab that you're going to be using on it. It doesn't even learn Sludge. So we've gone with a more stally, sleepy, annoying set. If you want to, again, run something like maybe Strength on there, or Razor Leaf, or just different things so it can hit and have PP purposes, then by all means go ahead and do so. It is our first team member, of course. It is Venusaur. On to Pokemon number 2 then, you guys, and we have Primeape, an unsung hero, in my opinion, for these generation of games. You get this thing really early on in Route 3, so before the first gym, and of course, well, you will get Mankey, of course, and just a really solid team member, no doubt, in my opinion. Anything that has over a certain base speed and really good in one of its attacks, that's the primary use of it, which in this case, 105 base physical attack, Adamant Nature to boost it even further. This thing hits a lot harder than people give it credit for, and it's just a really solid mon, in my opinion. Of course, we understand, and the grief that I get from using Primeape in these team builders is, oh, you're really weak to Psychic. Yes, you are, but there are other things on the team that can help you deal with that, and Psychic is more of a dominant typing later on in the games, like when you're facing Sabrina and her Alakazam later on in the games. She's like, what, the 6th gym leader, if I remember correctly, or 5th or 6th gym leader. So, you know, it's quite later on in the games that you have to face that, and by that time you've built up a team that's going to be able to deal around that. In terms of its moveset, Brick Break, Bulk Up, Rock Slide, Earthquake, really nice bulk up is really underrated. Setup is broken in game. It just is. Along with healing items, you click bulk up twice or even once. Heal up, use a hyper potion or a max potion or whatever, and then you can just sweep through with Brick Break, Rock Slide, Earthquake. Rock Slide for nice coverage on those flying types. Earthquake just hits a lot of things base 100. Earthquake go brrr in Generation 3. Pretty much always has just gone. And then of course stab Brick Break, because why not? It's there. Our alternatives, of course, this time around are Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Machamp. They are the other fighting types within the game that you can use. If you can trade evolution, then Machamp is a really solid option. If you are going for one of the two of the Hitmons, I always recommend Hitmonlee in these generations. It just gets better coverage in terms of what you want it to do. It just hits that bit harder. Vital Spirit ability, pretty meh ability in terms of a fighting type. It's not really useful. But Mankey, it's a Primate, level 28, nice, well-rounded mid-tier Mon that just does the job that it's there to do. Good 95 speed, decent special defense. Of course, those HP and defense stats are a bit lower, but that's why bulk up is there, to boost that defense stat. HP does let it down a little bit. Special attack 60, we don't care about that. We're Adamant Nature. We're only hitting on the physical side, but base 105 physical attack does the job really well. I think this Mon is underrated. I think more people should use it, and if you haven't, please do give it a go. It is our second team member. It is Primate. On to Pokemon number 3 then, you guys, and we have arguably the Pokemon that I was slated for not using the most when it came to the original Fire Red Leaf Green team builders, and that is Jolteon. The only thing that let me down about this Mon, and the reason I didn't use it in the original games, is the lack of coverage that this thing gets. But obviously, it's been a long time since we've done those team builders. Multiple years have gone past. More playthroughs of the games have been had. And I can put my hand on my heart and say that this thing, I understand why so many of you guys in the comments were slating me and saying you need to replace Raichu with Jolteon. I understand that basically in this generation you want an electric type to do one thing only, and that's click Thunderbolt. That's all this thing really does. And the other moves are there for a little bit of strategy and a little bit of different things that you can do. We've given it Thunder in case you want to set up the Rain. We'll get to that. Bite is special in this generation, so just a little bit of coverage. Again, you want to hit those Psychic types. You've got 2 Mons weak to Psychic already. We've got a Mon with base 110 special attack that's boosted by its Modest Nature, and can hit super effectively with Bite. And you know, most Psychic types do have really good special defense as well, so it's not going to be OHKOing a lot of things, but you're going to do a really big chunk of damage because you're really good in special attack, and you're always going to outspeed most of the time anyway, because you have base 130 speed. This thing is quick as hell, and 95 special defense means that these Psychic types that we're worried about, you can actually take those hits really well. And if anything does happen just to be faster than you by the off chance, you can of course paralyze it, Thunder Wave, go for the para, always play for the hacks, never punished. And also a really nice electric immunity with Volt Absorb, so you actually cannot be hit by electric type attacks. You gain HP back. The alternatives we've gone this time around are the other electric types in the generation, of course, Raichu, Magneton, and Electrode. All 3 alternatives are really solid choices. They pretty much do the exact same thing Jolteon does, which is click Thunderbolt. Raichu is there for a bit more coverage, can learn things like Dig, Iron Tail. Magneton's there for the Steel typing, which again, if you want a few more immunities again to that Psychic weakness, that Steel typing is still broken in Generation 3, so you've got the typing alternatives there. And then finally Electrode, and again, another hard-hitting, quick special attacker. If you just want to use something a bit different, if you've used Jolteon 1,000 times, Electrode's there to try something different. Of course, you get the Eevee in Celadon City, which is the exact same city where you can buy the stones. So any evolution in this game, whether it be Flareon, Vaporeon, or Jolteon, is really easy to obtain. Like I said, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Bite, and Thunder Wave as the movesets. We're not really worrying about HP, defense, and physical attack all too much. Like I say, physical attack is redundant because we're hitting on the special side. But that base 110 special attack, base 130 speed, and 95 special defense is what makes Jolteon really good in game. Clicks Thunderbolt, things die, and it's just a really good time. It's our 3rd team member. It is Jolteon. On to Pokemon number 4, you guys, and we have Lapras. Time to add a bit more bulk to the team in this beefy water ice type. Of course, you get Lapras as a gift in the Sylph coat as well. Arguably one of the best water types in the game with the water absorbability, making other water types completely useless against it. It's really good to use. I really love using Lapras. I've used it in multiple different team builders in the past as well because of how good it is. Surf, Ice Beam, Psychic, Rain Dance. So this thing linked with Jolteon, you're setting up the Rain with Lapras. It's going to boost up those Surf attacks because they're going to do even more. So you've got the Stab, then you've got the Rain boost. And in these generations, the weather does not go away. So you're going to be setting up the rain, and it's going to be there constantly. You bring in Jolteon, you're going to start clicking Thunder, and things are going to die even quicker. Normally, you would sometimes give this thing Thunderbolt, so Surf, Ice Beam, Psychic, Thunderbolt. It's a sort of standard set you would use because you've got this, and then you've got Starmie, who are pretty much, you've got the you've got the special attacking sort of hyper-aggressive, more playstyle of Starmie, and then you've got the bulkier side of Lapras. Fortunately, Starmie's the version exclusive, which is why it's one of our alternatives, along with Slowbro. I think long-time survivors of the channel know Slowbro is arguably my favourite in-game water type. Gyarados is there just as a little bit of a difference. You guys know, I've said it multiple times, my thoughts on Gyarados before Generation 4, sorry, don't use it. Past Generation 4, Gyarados is easily the best water type in the game, arguably one of the best mons in the game, period. Lapras, though, is undone in this game. It's brilliant. It just completely bodies Lance. If you do want to give it Thunderbolt instead of Jolteon, and if you're going with something else, maybe if you're pairing it with Raichu instead, because Raichu gets, you evolve it. Pikachu gets Thunderbolt before you make it into a Raichu, so then you get that Thunderbolt TM, and you can give it to Lapras. This thing just absolutely demolishes Lance and does a brilliant job of it. 130 HP, enough bulk to survive. 95 special defense means these psychic types aren't going to be doing anything. We've given it the modest nature to boost up that special attack. We're not using our physical attack. Although it is 85, you can run things like Body Slam and actually do considerable bit of damage and go for those paras. 80 defense as well, which is really nice. But yeah, 60 speed is the only thing that lets it down, and even 60 isn't dead awful. This thing, if leveled correctly and with IVs and EVs and stuff like that, can still outspeed some things and most things in the game, which is always nice, of course. Stab, Ice Beam, and Surf are just going to do so much damage as well for you. It's a brilliant team member. Highly recommend Lapras as your in-game water type if you haven't used it before. It's our 4th team member. It's Lapras. On to Pokemon number 5, you guys, and everyone will be happy to see this thing here. I think I have learnt the error of my ways. One of the biggest things out of the original team builders that people hated was my inclusion of Pidgeot in all of them, and not even a slimmer mention of our boy Dodrio right here. This thing is a machine and is a must, in my opinion, on at least one of the team builders. I think if I didn't use it and I did stick Pidgeot instead of this thing, there would have been, once again, an absolute onslaught. I'd probably put this thing at 2nd at most requested mon that should have been in the teams. I put Jolteon 3rd, and there's a certain poison type that easily came 1st in those team builders. We'll get to that another time. But yeah, Dodrio is without a doubt probably the best flyer in the game, depending on your stance on use of in-game because of when you get it and stuff. Dragonite is obviously very good as well, but obviously training up, getting the Dragonite's all very well and good for the Elite Four in the late game, but for longevity of the game, you've got things like Fearow, Pidgeot, and Dodrio, which I think are up there. Same with Aerodactyl as well. The longevity of it for the late game, it's really good, but of course you've got to wait for that late game flyer and stuff like that. So there's the pros and the cons to all of them, but I think if you put everything together, the out and out favourite amongst the community, people would say that the best normal flying type or the flying type to use in the game would be Dodrio. With the stab tri-attack as well, the chance to burn, paralyze or freeze from the tri-attack, which is actually physical in this game because of course it's before Generation 4. The stab drill peck, we put fly in there just to make sure that you people are happy and that I don't get spammed comments saying, what about fly? I don't want to run everywhere. Fly is on there for people that don't like to walk or don't like to go to the PC. And also, that's all you really need. You really need tri-attack and drill peck are all you really need for this thing. Steel Wing's there just as a little bit of steel coverage. Why not? If you want to hit a rock type and you want to stay in and you can't be asked to switch into your Lapras, because funny enough, Lapras is actually weak to rock as well, or your Venusaur for that matter, in case rock types and Giovanni is giving you that much jip. We do have Steel Wing on here just in case. But Adamant Nature on an already base 110 physical attacking mon is going to be really nice. Base 100 speed means this thing is going to outspeed so many things, which means you're not going to be worrying about those defenses because this thing is probably pretty much going to one-shot a lot of things anyway. The early bird ability as well, if you do so happen to get put to sleep, you're going to wake up a little bit earlier than before. It also can get Runaway, I think is the other one. I put Early Bird there because if you do want one or the other, obviously Runaway doesn't really have in any battle experience. It's just a runaway from Wild Mons. And this thing's so quick that if you don't outspeed the Wild Mon, then there's something really wrong with your Dodrio. So if you can get any ability and you really care that much, I would say, of course, grab the Early Bird. Route 16, it's it's a decent section through the game. It's not too late, but it's not super early. If you do want one super early, maybe you're struggling with Erica. Of course, Firo is right there. Pidgeot over there as well. I talked the longest about this mon because I feel like I needed to clarify myself of why we need to talk about this mon. It's very good. Please use it if you haven't already. It's our 5th team member. It is Dodrio. On to our final team member, you guys. We have our ground type for this team builder. We have Rhydon, and I will live and breathe by the fact that this thing is criminally underrated in these games. Earthquake, Rock Slide, Iron Tail Strength, base 130 physical attack, adamant nature. This thing hits like a truck. You get it in the Savari zone as well, which isn't a late period for you guys to be getting mons in the game. For all of you that like Executor, that's Savari zone. Sometimes you can wait a little bit. Dodrio's in Savari zone. Savari zone's a really nice spot for you to be getting like your 4th and 6th team members. I think it's a really nice point in the game for you to be finishing off your team. Yeah, this thing is really, really good. You are going to want to keep it as a Rhyhorn for a little bit longer though, otherwise you won't be getting Earthquake until if you over level the champion, which with these movesets in mind, I've done nothing that's over the level cap of your rival's ace, so their Charizard in this case, because it's a Venusaur team builder. Yeah, base 100, base 120, sorry, physical defense as well. This is your physical wall for the team. It's absolutely just going to tank hits. Like we said, the steel coverage for those rock types, if you really are struggling with rock types of Lapras and Dodrio, you have a Venusaur. You also have a Rhydon that is going to eat up any rock type for absolute breakfast. It's actually going to just swallow the rocks that's being chucked at it and use Rock Slide back to just throw them back at it. Strength is a really underrated, solid base 80 physical move that does really well. Lightning Rod is a bit redundant in this case because, of course, it's immune to electric already being the ground typing, but if you somehow manage to end up in a double battle, that requires Lapras to be not hit by an electric type attack, you've got Rhydon there to soak it up. In terms of our alternatives, we have Golem, Sandslash, and Nidoking. Golem I really wish wasn't a trade evolution because it would really feature on more team builders. Sandslash is an unsung hero for these generations. I think it doesn't get the love it deserves as a really, really solid in-game ground type. And the fandom absolutely love Nidoking, as we're fully aware of how good it is. It can be an alternative. Of course, you don't want no dual poison on your team in a region that's so heavy to Psychic. But if you do want to use Nidoking early game and then swap to Rhydon later on, that would make complete and utter sense to me as well for you guys to do that. It's a really, really solid team member. I really recommend anyone that hasn't used this thing before to give it a go. It will honestly surprise you. It's fantastic. It's our final team member. It is Rhydon. So that is going to be it for this team builder based around Venusaur in Fire Red and Leaf Green, our remastered Venusaur team builder. We have Venusaur, Primeape, Jolteon, Lapras, Dodrio, and Rhydon. I nearly forgot all the members' names. Yeah, I really should have it up on the screen next to me just so I don't forget. If you did enjoy today's video, please do make sure to leave a like on the video for me. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. We are on our way towards 15,000 subscribers. It is my goal by the end of 2023 to have 15,000 subscribers on the channel. There are going to be more team builder videos coming your way very soon as well, now that I'm actually able to record and do everything good again. Make sure you turn notifications on for any team builders that may go live, any live streams that we do. I want to do Pokemon Challenge videos as well. Different kind of team builders for you guys coming your way as well. I've got plenty of ideas that are rolling in my head that I'm going to try and bring your way as well. So exciting times for the channel, exciting things ahead. Do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!